Hello, hello, and welcome to my presentation of Play and Pretense, Games of Love in Fragonard's Rococo World. My name is Yuna Lee, and today I'm going to talk about these two paintings by Jean-Honoré Fragonard, The Seesaw and Blind Man's Buff. At first glance, these two paintings, they might look cute, lighthearted scenes of kids playing outdoors, but once you get to look a little deeper and know a little better, they turn out to be a bit more complicated and maybe, I don't know, a little cheeky. These early works are packed with hidden meanings about love, flirtation, how people in 18th century France used play to express feelings they couldn't say out loud. First, I'm going to give a quick intro to Fragonard and the Rococo style, just to give some context, and I'm going to walk through each painting in the order they were made, starting with the Seesaw and then the Blind Man's Buff. For each one, I'm going to talk about what's going on in the scene, the painting, how it's painted, and why it matters so much during that time. And at the end, I'm going to wrap everything up and share what I think these works are really trying to express, what they're saying, and why they're still so interesting to this day. So who is Fragonard and what was Rococo? So Fragonard, he was born in 1732 and trained under Francois Boucher, one of the big names in Rococo art. Rococo is very decorative, pastel heavy, romantic style that came out of France in the early 17s. It's mostly just all about pleasure, softness, and playful themes, especially love. And Fragonard really embraced those traits, and even in the early paintings from when he was in his late teens or early 20s, you can see when you see his painting that he's just not painting pretty pictures. He's using everyday scenes to tell stories about feelings, power, and relationships. Alright, let's talk about the Seesaw. This painting, as you can see, it shows a couple of kids, maybe more like teens, who knows, playing on a seesaw in a lovely garden. It's, as you can see, the painting is very soft, pastel-y, with sunlight filtering through the trees, and the overall painting, it just feels very calm and sweet. But Rococo art has lots of double meanings to it, and this painting definitely is one of those. As we know, in the playground, when we're on the seesaw, it goes up and down, back and forth, and it's one of a representation of just romantic relationships. Even though in the painting the figures are kids, the image works as a metaphor for flirtation and the push-pull of attraction in romantic relationships. The way you can see that they're dressed also feels a bit too fancy for regular kids, which suggests that maybe they're playing roles, maybe even acting out adult courtship in miniature, which is interesting. And not only that, it also fits with Enlightenment ideas about childhood, and you can see where kids were seen as closer to nature and more emotionally real. So in a way, this painting might be asking, what's innocent and what's pretend? Alright, next up is Blind Man's Buff. The same artist, same time period, but this one has a lot more going on. In this painting, we see a group of young people playing a game where one person is blindfolded and has to catch the others. The composition is much more active. People are moving, laughing, dodging, and you can almost see the emotion in the painting. And Fragonard is really it's one of his specialties, that of capturing these kind of fleeting moments. But again, it's not just about fun and games. The blindfold isn't just a prop. It actually symbolizes how love can be blind, or how people sometimes pretend not to see what's really happening. Like in the modern world, we would say ignoring the red flags. And in the painting, in the game itself, it's symbolizes like the kind of a stand-in for a flirtation, with all its like uncertainty, mixed signals, and guessing games. And as we can see, this one feels a little more grown up than the Seesaw, even though the figures are still young. The clothes, the setting, the tension, it all points towards something deeper. And it looks really playful, but also full of suggestion. So to conclude, what is the point? So what ties these paintings together is how they use play to talk about love without actually talking about love. And Fragonard's showing us how people perform their feelings, how they can act out as roles, and how much of romance in our aristocratic France was basically a social game. And while the style is soft and pretty, which I personally like so much about Fragonard's painting, is that the ideas underneath are really direct and actually pretty sharp. These works reflect how the upper classes in pre-revolutionary France saw love and identity. And these are my sources. Thank you for watching my presentation. Bye!